Hello again. I'm back to make part 2 of fixing Wonder Woman's skirt. That would be the Wonder Woman from Hot Toys from Batman vs. Superman. I have in front of the camera a couple of toothpicks and a glue that I really like, Rapid Fuse, because it does hold in 30 seconds, so you're not spending a ton of time holding things in place, so it takes care of it pretty quickly. So here we go, just a review. Remove the glue and the toothpick. Here's Wonder Woman. Here's her skirt. We talked about how the hip joint needs to be back in place completely so that both of these joints are under her panties, and that this piece was actually not so much out of place as it is. You can see it right here in front of the camera. It's actually kind of just loose. It's not in the proper position. And I think that comes from it gets put on the doll and then she goes in her little box and then sits in that box for quite a while with this material out of position for long enough that it then wants to hold this shape. So what I'm going to do is just simply get up under here and tuck it back under with a little bit of glue. So we're going to start, put her over here, taking this glue. Mine, I use this glue a lot, so as you can hear it crackling as I open it. This is going to be pretty quick. Get a little bit of glue out. You can tell I've used this glue a lot. I'm due for some newer glue. I'm just going to put a little dot right here on this little paper plate. You can see there's a little dot right there. And I've got a toothpick. Toothpicks are great because they have a nice point on them. You can get them up underneath and you don't have to put a lot on them. So I'm going to hold her here so that she's kind of out of the glue because I don't want her getting glue on her. So I'm going to move this over. I'm going to take a little bit of, let's see, right there. We're going to take a little tiny, itty bitty tiny bit of glue. I mean, that is a really small amount of glue, as you can see. And I'm going to go where I lift her skirt up. And I'm going to put a little teeny tiny bit right here just underneath the belt. I get a little bit more, a little bit under the belt right there. Now with my fingers I'm going to move this up into position where I know it's supposed to be flat against her on the underneath side. I'm just going to put a little pressure here because I've got glue underneath the belt. And you can see when I close this flap here how much smaller this is already. So you can see that right there, I've made a much smaller space. You need to push that back under just a little bit more before it takes. And hold, hold, hold. Usually takes about 30 seconds. Sometimes it can take even less time than that, but you can see the gap has already gotten smaller. I'm going to turn it a little bit so it's a little more light. You can see there's a much smaller now. You don't see any glue. And it's already starting to hold. So let's do this. Let's hold her up. We've had about 20 seconds worth of bonding going on here. I keep pushing in. I don't have any glue showing. Hold that down. So let's move a couple things out of the way. And let's take a look. Let's stand her up. Oh yeah, that's much better now. I've been messing with this, so it's trying to stand up a little bit, but I'm going to flatten that back down. You can see already what a huge difference this makes. Now there's an opening because I had this all pulled back up. As you can see, it's laying a little flatter on this side. Some of that has to do with how I've been handling it. But this is a huge improvement over what she looked like when she came out of the box, mostly because I put her hip joint back where it belongs. So you can see that that is glued much tighter right up in here. Right up in there. So that's where the glue went, right underneath. We pushed it back up underneath, helped it stay in place. Now I'm going to take a look up underneath. Oh yeah, this is much better. Now I personally would like this to stay a little better. So I'm going to take a little more glue. I think my glue is still, yeah, it's still liquid. I'm going to take a little bit more glue, and I'm going to go right into this position right here. You can see it's right underneath. A little bit of glue right in there. So you can see I put glue right in that spot right there. Now I'm going to hold this into position And I'm going to hold it right there. So now I'm going to hold for just a little bit. I really think this fix has the potential to take care of a lot of problems. I'm sure they left it loose because they wanted her hip joint to have the mobility and the skirt not to interfere with all of that. She doesn't have a ton of mobility to start with, so they were trying to be as careful as possible. I'm gonna take this off, see now, how do we do? Oh yeah, much, 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 much better. Let's move her over here so we can see. Look at that. Hardly a gap at all. It's about the same size as the one on this side. Doing good. Turn her sideways. Oh yeah, that's much better. So it's gonna need to spend a little time out of the box so that it all hangs correctly. There's little to no weight on this fabric because it's so thin. It's really actually a nice choice for the fabric. I like it a lot. Love to have some. Like to make some other things out of it. But I think that'll do it. If you just take the time to take just a little tiny bit of glue and glue it in. Now watch, I'm going to pop her hip joint back out and I'm going to show you what happens. See how it increases the size of the gap? Put it back in. Push your hips together like they belong. Gap starts to disappear. So you should be able to do this on your own. Quick, easy little fix. Like I said, I really like this glue. It's good stuff. You definitely have to put the cap back on it because it will dry out pretty quickly. But I hope this helps a lot of you. Have a good day.